The gym was packed that Saturday afternoon. Heavy bags swung from the ceiling, gloves smacked against pads, and a crowd gathered around the sparring ring. Everyone had come to watch Victor Kane, the gym's undefeated black belt champion. At 28, Victor was known for his confidence, his skill, and unfortunately, his habit of making fun of people he considered beneath him. While his students admired his talent, many quietly disliked his attitude. Victor enjoyed being the center of attention, and on that day, he planned to entertain the crowd at someone else's expense. Near the back of the gym worked Maria, the cleaning lady every morning. She arrived before sunrise and stayed until closing. Most members barely noticed her. They walked past as she mopped floors, emptied trash cans, and wiped sweat from equipment. Maria was in her late 50s, quiet and polite, with silver strands beginning to appear in her dark hair. Nobody knew much about her past because she rarely spoke about it. To most people, she was simply the woman who cleaned the gym. As Victor finished another impressive demonstration, his eyes landed on Maria. A mischievous grin spread across his face, and an idea entered his mind that would soon change everything. Victor pointed toward Maria and called out loudly enough for everyone in the gym to hear. "Hey, Maria, you've been watching us train for years. Why don't you come show us some moves?" Laughter immediately spread through the room. Several students exchanged amused looks, while others pulled out their phones expecting a funny moment. Maria paused her work and looked up from her mop. Her expression remained calm, but there was a sadness in her eyes. She knew exactly what Victor was doing. He wasn't inviting her to participate. He was trying to embarrass her in front of everyone. The crowd began encouraging her to step onto the mat. Some thought it was harmless fun, while others felt uncomfortable. Maria slowly set her mop against the wall and walked toward the ring. The laughter grew louder. Victor handed her a pair of spare gloves with a dramatic bow. "Come on," he joked. "Show us your secret black belt skills." More laughter followed. But then something unexpected happened. Maria accepted the gloves without hesitation. She examined them carefully, tightened the straps around her wrists, and stepped onto the mat with surprising confidence. The room slowly became quieter. There was something about the way she moved, steady, balanced and controlled, that didn't match the image everyone had of a cleaning lady. For the first time that afternoon, Victor's smile faded slightly. The gym fell unusually quiet as Maria stepped into the center of the mat. Victor circled around her with a confident grin, still convinced the entire situation was a joke. He bounced lightly on his feet and threw a few playful shadow punches to entertain the audience. Some students laughed nervously, but others had begun noticing something strange. Maria's posture was perfect. Her feet were positioned with balance and purpose. Her eyes stayed focused on Victor, without showing the slightest sign of fear. Instead of looking uncomfortable, she appeared completely at home on the mat. Victor raised his gloves and lightly tapped them together. "Ready?" he asked with a smirk. Maria nodded politely. The instructor, acting as referee, signaled for them to begin. Victor moved forward first, throwing a slow practice jab, meant more to amuse the crowd than to land. Before anyone could react, Maria smoothly stepped aside. Her movement was so precise that Victor completely missed. A murmur spread through the audience. Victor tried again with a combination, but Maria avoided each strike with effortless timing. She wasn't rushing or showing off. She simply moved with years of experience. Within seconds, the crowd realized this wasn't luck. The woman they had ignored for years possessed skills far beyond what anyone had imagined. Victor's confident smile disappeared completely. As he finally understood, he might have made a very big mistake. A tense silence settled over the gym. The laughter that had filled the room only minutes earlier had completely vanished. Victor's face grew serious as he increased his speed. This was no longer a joke to him. He launched a series of quick attacks, expecting his superior strength and youth to overwhelm Maria, but every move seemed to meet an answer. She stepped aside at exactly the right moment, blocked when necessary, and maintained perfect balance. Throughout the exchange, the audience watched in disbelief. The cleaning lady they barely noticed every day was matching the gym's champion without showing signs of panic or exhaustion. Then Maria finally decided to demonstrate what she could do. As Victor rushed forward again, she executed a smooth defensive technique that redirected his momentum. Before he realized what had happened, he lost his balance and landed flat on the mat. The sound echoed through the room. Gasps replaced whispers. Phones rose higher as people tried to capture the unbelievable moment. Victor quickly stood up, embarrassed and frustrated. For the first time in years, he looked uncertain. Maria remained calm and respectful, never celebrating or mocking him. Her composure made the scene even more powerful. Everyone could see the difference between true confidence and arrogance. The crowd that had laughed at her earlier was now staring with admiration. The woman they had underestimated had just taught the entire gym a lesson. Without saying a single word, the gym remained silent as Victor slowly got back to his feet. His breathing was heavy, but it wasn't the physical effort that affected him most. It was the realization that he had judged someone without knowing anything about her. Looking around, he saw the expressions on the faces of his students. They were no longer impressed by his confidence. Instead, they were looking at Maria with respect. The woman who had spent years cleaning the floors had earned more admiration in a few minutes than Victor had gained through countless victories. For the first time that afternoon, he felt genuinely embarrassed by his own behavior. Victor lowered his gloves and walked toward Maria. Everyone expected another challenge, another excuse, or perhaps an argument. Instead, he bowed his head. "I'm sorry," he said loudly enough for the entire gym to hear. Maria smiled kindly. She explained that decades earlier, she had competed professionally in martial arts and had even trained national-level fighters before family responsibilities changed her life. The crowd was stunned. Years of experience had been hidden behind a mop and a cleaning cart. Victor shook her hand and the audience erupted into applause. The lesson was unforgettable. A person's job does not define their worth, and true strength is often found where people least expect it. As Maria picked up her mop and returned to work, every person in the gym looked at her differently. She had arrived as the cleaning lady, but she left that mat as the most respected person in the building. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps the channel grow and brings us closer to 1,000 subscribers. Every comment, like, and subscription makes a huge difference. Thank you for being part of the journey, Heart.